Welcome to the Phygital Marketing Podcast, a podcast from Sotto, where we explore how digital and physical experiences are blending in modern marketing. I'm your host, Lindsey Buxman, and I'll be sitting down with my favorite marketing leaders to chat about what they think is working, what's not, how real-world moments should connect to digital strategy, and everything in between. Okay, let's get phygital. Hi, everyone. I am here in London today with Mike Brinn, Global Loyalty Director at TLC Worldwide. So excited to have you here with me today, Mike. Tell us a little bit about you and TLC Worldwide.
Lindsey, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak together. We've known each other for a while. I think it feels like pre-COVID anyways. It goes back a number of years, so it's great to see you again. My role within TLC is Global Loyalty Director, as you said. So I'm responsible for how we approach loyalty across the 14 markets that TLC operates in. My passion is really for loyalty, bringing loyalty to an emotional level, connecting with customers. And luckily in TLC, we're full of reward experiences, which helps build that connection with the customers.
I love that. From what I've seen of your work, and I've followed it for years, it really does seem like TLC Worldwide just thinks outside the box when it comes to loyalty. And so I'm so excited to get your thoughts both on building emotional connections, as well as just like how to measure the value of some of these more out of the box concepts. So perhaps we start there. I would love to get your thoughts on how to build a genuine human connection as a brand, and just how to start to think about that as a brand marketer in your day-to-day work.
Yeah, it's really interesting because loyalty traditionally was very transactional led. It was very much about there's a value exchange. You purchase something from me, I give you points or I give you a discount. But what we've seen, and it's working very well for the last number of years, is brands are trying to build that connection. And to do that, I think you have to understand me. You have to show me that I understand you, understand maybe my passions, understand what's important in my life. And it's linked to the brand. So you can't be someone that you're not. So it has to link to the brand in some way. So that's really key to me. It's about understanding the customers, connecting with them, having a conversation if you can, but definitely making them feel that your program or whatever you're doing is there to support them in their lives. And it's not just about a transaction and getting you to spend more.
So let's put this in the context of a
Mm,
brand as well.
mm,
I saw UFC's program, the Fight
mm.
Club Rewards,
Yeah,
has been recognized for a few
yeah,
awards as well recently.
yeah.
How did your team, as well as the UFC, start to think about and get in the minds of those customers to understand what program would make the
Yeah.
most sense for them?
It's really, yeah, and congratulations to the team. They won an award at Loyalty 360 only a couple of weeks ago. I think it's really interesting. Fan loyalty, if you think about it, sports is the one thing we're all very loyal to. Even if your team is terrible, even if they're performing badly, we'll still forgive them. So it's one of the true places that loyalty does exist. And when you look at doing a loyalty program for a sports organization, um, where do you start? Well, I think it's start helping them to enjoy the experience more. So that can come down to things like in the UFC, it's like giving them earlier access to tickets, giving them discounts where possible because they're a fan, recognizing them, which I think is one of the key reasons brands struggle is they don't recognize their customers, show them that they care about them, show them that they give them something more because they're more connected and spend more. But also think about that experience around the event. So we have things like discounted hotels. So you're going to go to a UFC event. We understand that's the journey you're going on. So why not give you a discount for that? Likewise, food, restaurants, and those type of things. And merchandise, of course, becomes part of it. So I think it's really that making it more enjoyable for the customer and supporting them in that fan journey. That's really where the UFC thing has UFC program has worked really well.
That makes so much sense to not think about just the silo of the brand, but extend it to the other points of that experience.
Yeah.
Very,
We
very
did
clever.
another sports loyalty program, which I really love, and,
Yeah.
and it's a bit niche. We'll
Okay.
explain to you. So, Coral is the name of a booking gambling company. So, if you want to book on the bet on horses,
Hmm.
and in their program, which we helped create, they delivered. In fairness, we brought in the idea of ownership of the horse because what people love
It's cute.
is the horse. They bet, but they love the horse. That's what they're interested in. Their passion is for the sport. And the idea was if they were chosen and the horse that was part of the program was running, you go and be the owner for the day. So it's about enhancing that passion people have for their, in this case, sport.
Yeah. So years ago, probably a decade ago, I
Mm.
worked with Miami Dolphins, and
Wow.
our favorite reward in that,
Mm.
well, the fans' favorite reward was running a flag across the field, before the game, and it's those moments of how do you create something that doesn't cost the brand
Yeah.
anything and could be within the experience or
Mm.
not, but
Mm.
then it's something that fans covet.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting as well is there is some stats out there, and I don't want to quote something I'm not 100% sure on, but I would suspect 95, 96% of fans never go to the stadium. So it's how do you create that experience for people who can't run the flag because they just won't go there. And if you
Mhm.
look at most sports organizations around the world as their fan base, not just in their local community. So I think things like giving them the opportunity to win merchandise. Red Bull do this very well, actually, if you ever see their loyalty program, the Formula One car. But even also acknowledging the everyday needs. So here's a takeaway when you're watching the match. There's a discounted takeaway. That's a lovely little experience. So we're saying enjoy the match and we want to even make it a bit more enjoyable for you.
That's such a great way of extending real world connections
Mm,
without needing everyone to be in the stadium
mm,
too,
yeah.
which I know you've done really well with mobile
Mm,
networks as well. 3 Mobile comes to
mm,
mind.
mm,
The way that you have a 1 pound
mm,
coffee
yeah.
network, just allows for that brand to permeate through everyday motions without having to ever visit a
Mm.
3 Mobile store, which I would imagine customers don't do that often.
No, they don't. And when you think about it, particularly mobile insurance, utilities, all those type of um, brands, you sign up for a year contract. So a lot of times you just sign up, you won't come back for 12 months really.
Yes.
And sometimes that letter is saying it's a chance for me to see to be disloyal because I want to look around and see is there a better price. So what we did with the three example, again something that won another award, thankfully, is that every week you get a 1 pound coffee. So we're really making it relevant to you. And the way you position that's very important as well. But it now there's an as a value add and there's something that if you take it away, it's something a lot to take away. And it's not just about the discount. And everyone drinks coffee all the time, too much, of course.
Too much.
Yeah,
I think it's a very clever program.
yeah,
Where do you see loyalty going? What's your predictions on the future? That could be from a technology perspective. It could just be more of this network based
yeah.
concept. What are you seeing across your clients?
So we're seeing the challenge we're seeing is a lot of clients fell into the trap without realizing it of I must get a loyalty program out there.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe it's the silver bullet I need. So it's like immediately I'll put a strategy out there which is based on the principle of I spend, I earn. And we call that the head and the wallet. So it's like, there's some benefit in it for me. There's some discount in it for me. So why not join that? But all the research shows that if you go, Capgemini did a really good survey a couple of years ago where they said, I think 80% of all programs that are transactional based fail within 2 years because people just assume the discount. So they're discount programs dressed as loyalty programs at that stage. So what loyalty needs to do now is create the emotion, the heart. So how do you create that? And it's things like the coffees. So it's things like the content we spoke about there, the Miami running with the flag. So it's all those type of things that help build that connection with the customer. So I think brands are really looking at that, and they're really looking at who they are because brands do some amazing jobs at their positioning, and the loyalty program should be the storyteller of that positioning. And sometimes I think that's been disconnected. So it's bringing that alignment that as a customer, I feel important to you. You acknowledge me. You treat me with an interest in what you share with me. So it's those type of things I think are important for us to bring true.
Do you have any favorite loyalty programs?
I hate when that question's asked.
I'm sorry.
No, I it's I do. But I love the program. So I probably can bucket them in different ways. I love the programs that are true to. It depends on what your brand is. So someone like Patagonia is
Mm,
very much a brand about helping. They have a mission. So mission-based loyalty programs are really interesting. They want to focus on helping people, helping the planet, and they do that really well. Lego is experiential. They do that really well with their VIP club. So all those type of programs, there's so many programs. If I see a program that I feel that's owned by that brand, you couldn't change the name of it and it go to another brand, then I like those programs. Most frequent one is still for me, it's still travel because it also gives you the benefit. So if you
mhm.
travel a lot and you fly a lot, you do want those simple benefits of early access to flights or access to lounges or fast passes. So it really depends on where the customer need is and the relationship they can have with the brand.
Yes, yes. I mean, my travel
Mm,
programs
mm,
was coveted for me, but that's
mm,
because I
mm.
always travel.
Travel a lot, yeah, so it makes sense. And the offer is right for you in that case. So where it comes to Patagonia, where the brand is
Mhm.
inspirational, then I think it's right that they talk about that and they don't have to offer you lots of discounts, maybe access to early sales. Um, Asics are doing a really good job as well. They're talking about movement at the moment. And Asics is a brand that is, if you look at its heritage, it's really, really interesting. So they're talking about a program that helps you move more. And I
Mm.
think when brands do that type of thing, that really excites me.
Those are all so exciting. What about, just within the shopping experience? So let's talk about maybe even Legos, physical
Mm,
stores.
mm,
Um, what are you starting to see in stores that's
mm,
exciting you or just starting to make your shopping experiences
yeah.
better?
That's really interesting because my passion actually was retail. I
Yeah.
started my career in retail. I started in a retailer called Woolworths, which was very famous in the US. It was here in the UK for a number of years, and it's a variety type of retailer. So to this day, I love retail. I love seeing new stores. Very close to us here, there's a Regent Street in London, which is a great place to go and just walk around and see what people are investing in stores. But I think what's important in a store, if it's a bookstore, coffee shop, a retailer of fashion, whatever it is that they can acknowledge you and show you, they treat you well. We're so used to being treated well online experience now. People know exactly to recommend products to us. They can make our life easier. And sometimes we're very faceless when we go into a retail store then. So that experience of the brand and what we know it's about. And then you go into stores sometimes if the staff aren't friendly, that's a
Mhm.
letdown. If they're not engaging. There was about, I'd say it's 30 plus years ago, there was a grocery retailer in Ireland called Superquin. And he set up the first loyalty program in Europe that was card-based, electronic. And the reason he set it up was he wanted to know the names of the customers. In simple terms, that was his main mission. So he thought this was fantastic. When you swipe a card, you see Lindsay's name. I didn't know her name. I just wanted to say thank you, Lindsay, for coming in and shopping with us. So I think we had that years ago. I think loyalty programs did it that well. Maybe they've stepped away from it a little bit too much now.
It's shocking how impactful it is to know
Mm,
someone's name
yeah.
and to thank them by name.
Mm,
So, yes, I totally agree, though, especially given online how much
mm,
can be done through automation and
mm,
through AI. Having that human connection and just feelings felt like you were seen or
mm,
heard while you were in stores, I think that's going to become even more
yeah.
impactful too.
It sometimes it bothers me when I see technology's moved on, but the personal connection hasn't. It's and there was a great example as well. He had this thing called goof points, which was if we made a goof, and a goof was you had a trolley that was what the wheels were wobbly on, didn't work.
Oh, that's cute.
Or we made a spelling mistake. Sometimes in grocery retailers where they write the things, if they didn't have, if we made a mistake, we gave you points. But what that allowed, the simplicity that allowed is I would go up to you and say, you made a mistake. So the customer was telling you and they were giving you, they were alerting you of the problem, but it created a communication. And I think you walk into stores sometimes today and there isn't that connection. It's missing. in retail today. There's another. I don't know if you've ever been to Lowe's grocery stores in they're in the Carolinas, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Lowe's the food stores. It must be 10 years ago. I was in that store, and I still remember it because when the rotisserie chickens came out, they did a chicken dance.
That's so
It's
cute.
the. I think theater works well as well, but I think theater is important, but also understanding and the recommendations and just being nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy.
Those all sound so simple,
Mm,
but so thoughtful as well.
mm,
You've told me a little bit about both UK as well as
mm,
US
mm,
experiences. How do you, just given your global scale and being
mm,
in 14 different markets, how do you start to understand and differentiate across those markets? I would love to hear some trends that you're seeing globally, but then just how you approach programs on a global scale while you
mm.
work with clients on a global scale as well.
Yeah. Luckily, we're in that situation where in those 14 markets where we are operating in, we have planners and creative teams and all that, infrastructure around it. So we can make it very local from that perspective. So the strategies tend to be the same across all markets. There's little deviances from that, but strategies tend to be the same. It's the reward content that's the important piece to make unique. So, what's the passions of that customer? Is discount more important? In some markets, you can see it. They love education type rewards. Some markets love travel more than others, but it depends on the brand. So I think it allowing us to have that structure we have, it gives us that opportunity to do that typical message of we can act global in the sense we can set up the strategies and work with you that, but deliver it locally.
That sounds very efficient
Mm.
and effective as well.
Yeah. And I think that it's very important that we understand the passions of the customers. One of the it's a simple thing to do, but just when people join a loyalty program, it's a little bit, isn't it, like online dating sometimes, you know, you ask people what their passions are, what their interests are.
Mhm.
And when they tell you that, then at least you can communicate in the right way and you can serve up rewards that's of interest to them. So that's an important part of our process is to understand the customers, ask them what they're interested in, and make sure when we communicate and we serve up rewards, send that message.
How do you approach that questioning? Is it commonly through surveys or like what is your approach to getting to know customers?
Yeah, some of it is service, but a lot of it is just images.
Mhm.
We did a program for a brand recently, and the surveys were fun. The one that comes to mind is we were trying to find out their passion for a certain thing. So we said, you come to the side of a river, do you jump in or do you go home and put on and have a cup of coffee? So you're asking people, are they interested in experiences or just want to relax? So I think it's asking people outside because people love to tell you that they want to tell you if travel is important, their family is important to them, wellness is important to them. So sometimes it's just imagery
Mm.
and sometimes it's survey.
Okay. I like that. It's a good balance.
Mm,
2 more questions for you.
mhm,
We can't leave without discussing AI.
mm.
How do you think AI should be incorporated into programs?
Yeah, I've seen so much on AI, and I think it does a great job at using the data and obviously creating y- taking a lot of data and making it simplified in how the journey is for customers. But we need to make sure it adds value to our customers as well.
Mhm.
Um, I was listening to somebody speak one time, and they were talking about the idea that the AI can. How did they describe it? It could be like ready meals. You get all the carbs, but you feel empty inside.
Yep.
So in a sense, the AI could be that type of thing as well. We're doing all the things we feel like because we have all this data and we're doing it in the right way. But are we, again, back to the conversation we're having, are we bringing a personal connection to it? Because I think customers will see through that really well. But AI we've all moved into that space. It's here. It's part of our lives. But I just want to make sure anything we do adds value to our customers, not just makes it easier for our job. It's how
Mhm.
we make sure it adds value to our customers.
That's so thoughtful. Final question really comes down to there's so much technology and even strategy around loyalty for clients and brands who are just getting started.
Mm.
What is that first step? And then how can they go about really evaluating
Mm,
where they should go and what direction they should start?
yeah. Yeah, I think brands should also look at, is things working at the moment? Because, sometimes we
Mm,
try and bring in the new technology
yes. Why layer on?
while they're on something. Because if we have a niche about something and there's something not working for our customers, we need to fix that. Now, the technology could be the what's missing.
Yeah,
Because I often think if you have technology, strategy, creative, rewards, you'll have buy-in from the customers. You'll have success. If your technology isn't working, you'll probably have confusion because you can have the best strategy, the best rewards, but if the tech isn't working, it's not working for you. So I think it's important that we understand where it's breaking down and then testing and trialing and trying it in different stores. I mean, it's very important today to provide people with an ROI. I think brands really need to see the ROI. So I think you have to do a bit of test and try.
that brings up a very good question. So I know I
Mm,
said final question, but um, how do you start to measure the ROI of building
mm.
emotional connections and just better connecting with customers?
Yeah, the the standard is still using MPS.
Mm, okay.
So I think that because it's very hard to do it in a lot of other ways. So you're still obviously have the standard KPIs. Are we spending more? Are we engaged? Are we reading emails? But I think the easiest one to start into is MPS. So are people still like us? Would they recommend us? Because then you can feel the trust is building and you're getting more emotionally connected to it.
I like that there's just one metric.
Yeah, and I think there's lots. I've seen so many clever people doing brilliant stuff, and it works, and I think
Yes.
it can be really helpful. But it's very easy to MPS is kind of a standard. Like if you were in the old days of email marketing, RFM was a standard. You can just easily talk about MPS, and you can easily track it. Has its weaknesses, but I think in general that's as good a starting point to understand the emotional loyalty.
Excellent.
Mm.
Thank you so much for the time today. It
No,
was
thank you
great
for
to
that. It's
chat
great
through
talk.
these.
Before you go, what's your view? Where do you see loyalty going in the coming or the no? Let's this park loyalty, the store experience.
Yeah.
How do you think it needs to improve from? Because I think loyalty in my one of the things, and my daughter is great at doing this. When we go to America, so I'm thinking of your country,
Mhm.
she has a tendency to set up all her accounts and say it's her birthday the week we're over there.
Oh my gosh, I love doing this.
And I find I had one experience which really made me cringe where I was in I won't mention the brand. It was in a really great store and I was paying for the product and the guy said to me, you can have 10% off if you join our loyalty program. I said, I'm in Ireland. I can't because I don't have the address. He said, no, I can put in the store address for you. I didn't need that 10%. I was grateful for it, but I didn't need it.
Yeah.
So how do you see those type of things being how can you make that connection better in store? Because I think it has a tendency to be discount led in some ways of what I've seen.
So first on the birthday front, I do this all the time. So I really think that brands should start to celebrate on birthdays
Yeah,
instead of birthdays, just
yeah,
because I think so much of that data is
yeah,
probably false
yeah,
data.
yeah.
And it comes back to how do we encourage customers to share the right information
Mm,
so that we can celebrate with them those
mm,
right moments.
mm,
And so if we were able to celebrate someone's unbirthday because they checked a box that said this is a
mm,
fake birthday so I
mm,
can get my birthday gift early,
mm.
perhaps you can create a better moment of
Yeah,
connection the following year and laugh with them
yeah,
instead of just having fake data and
yeah,
not knowing it
yeah.
yourself. So I think that's all really fun. When it comes down to where loyalty is likely going though, it is very much like what you said. How do we create connections? How do we make it easier and
Mm,
strip down things instead of adding more to what we're expecting of customers?
mm,
And so it is an expectation of intentionality and knowing that your customer's time is super valuable, your customer's attention is valuable. How do we not add more just to add more, but
mm,
instead simplify things, make things more frictionless, respect customers, and then be able to use every point of data
mm,
to better acknowledge and recognize
mm,
customers? Um, and so I do think that there's a gap today between how much we know about a customer and how we truly create better experiences.
mhm,
And customers are going to continue to give bad data like
Yeah.
addresses or birthdays, just to get what they think
Mm.
they could.
Mm.
And we need to show them that there's a better way if we can just start to better
Mm.
use that data.
Mm.
So there are brands that are doing it really well. We're obviously building technology as
Yeah.
well that we think will help to improve these
Mm.
experiences. And every time we will launch with a new client, we're thinking about how do we share this with customers in order to help them understand the value that they can get by sharing their
Mm.
information and by going through these
Mm.
experiences with us. So comes down to knowing the customer, just like you had
Mm.
mentioned, but then really just showing the right value exchange.
Yeah, because I think it's interesting when you walk into a store and you could be the most valuable customer to them,
Yes,
and
yes.
the staff won't know that.
Yeah.
Uh,
They'll be completely unaware,
yeah,
especially if you're a traveling
yeah,
customer.
yeah,
And so how do you because you
yeah,
also don't wanna be creepy,
yeah.
you don't wanna say, "Hey, Lindsay," when I haven't
Mm.
told anyone that I'm
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But creating ways to allow people to check in a
yes,
really simple way, but just so that they can be seen and known. I think that's going to be really, really important to do.
yeah,
Again, especially with how ingenuine online connections have started to
yeah.
feel as well.
And I think as well because we're so interested in if you're used to that, you know, especially in the travel industry as we spoke about, you check in the hotel, you check in the airport, they immediately recognize you, they speak to you, they tell you there's access to this or there's this offer for you, that type of offer. I think if you're that type of person and then you walked into the store version of that, it does have an impact on your want to spend time and dwell time in the store. I think if you don't have that feeling of connection immediately or feeling of me.
Yeah. Yeah. We just want to get to know everyone.
Good way to leave it.
It's ambitious. It's
Yeah,
ambitious, but I
yeah,
think it's a really good next step for
yeah.
brands to start to think about.
Excellent.
Thank you again for the time.
No, thank you for having the conversation.
Yes. Yes.
Cheers.
And thanks for listening to the Phygital Marketing Podcast. If you liked what you heard, follow the show and send it to your favorite marketer. If you want to learn more about Sotto or get in touch, visit withsotto.com. See you later, alligator.